Hi, I'm Allen Henderson, a broker at Henderson Real Estate. Welcome to the Ahwatukee History Project. Today, Marty's going to interview Joe Garner. Joe's the grandson of Arthur and Molly Hunter. In 1909, Arthur Hunter homesteaded the land in the open desert at what would become 48th Street and Thistle Landing. It was the start of what became Hunter Ranch. The ranch grew and became an integral part of the Kyrene Farming Community. Joe grew up on the Hunter Ranch. Hunter Ranch was located on a dirt road known as Hunter Drive, which is now known as 48th Street. Joe loved the ranch and refers to it as his wonderland and his playground. Let's listen in as Joe tells us about the water pipeline down the middle of Hunter Drive, and things start to change.
I want to move back to Hunter, back to ground zero where it started back in the homestead. We had Hunter Drive, dirt lane, correct?
Dirt, yeah.
Heading up
washboard
north to
dirt.
washboard dirt. And when was the first sign that maybe development would actually come to the area?
Well, somebody got a bright idea of putting a big pump station at the corner of Ray Road and 48th Street, or Hunter Drive then, on the northwest corner there. Mm-hmm. And they brought a huge machine, digging machine, trenchers, and drove it right down the middle of Hunter Drive and put in a pipeline, a big pipeline.
Uh-huh. Do you know about when this would have been?
Let's see, 45 years ago from now. So that would have been, what?
74?
74, 73?
73, 74, okay.
That area.
Sounds about right.
Because my son was 5 years old, and he was fascinated by all the activity on the road.
Yeah.
Well, what caught his attention was that the company, the contractor that was building the pipeline, had a employee that was a midget. And his job was to walk down the pipeline after they had put it in the ground and check the seams.
Huh.
And he was able to stand and walk through there because he was very short.
Okay.
Well, my son interpreted him as being very short as being a kid.
Uh-huh.
And he wanted to play. And he could not understand the fact that the man could not play with him. Mm-hmm. And he had a terrible time staying out of this man's way. And the man was telling him, he says, son, I'm a man, I'm working. And he says, you can't be a man because you're not big enough. Right. And finally the man says, what would convince him that I'm a man? And he said, my dad carries a wallet. Do you have a wallet? And the guy goes, yes, I do. And he pulled it out. And he came back to us in the main house there. And he said, that's a real man because he has a wallet.
Well, that's the criteria.
Yeah. And we were just like, wow, you finally left that poor man alone because he was trying to do his job.
Yeah, right.
And then the contractor was very, very understanding of it, because he'd never seen a midget before, and it was fun. The guy was a great guy too. He was a great guy.
So that would have been your first indication that maybe it wasn't going to remain, it being the land in the same condition.
Who would put a water line to a thing in the middle of the desert?
Right.
And my, my mom said, there's something, something's going to be going on here. And it was.
And then how did it go from there? So they put the pumping station at the northwest corner of Ray and what was to become Ray and what was to become 48th Street. What happened next, or what, how did it progress from there?
Well, they went north up to Warner, and and then it was like, wait a minute, they're building stuff, because they're clearing the land, they're taking the cotton fields out, and they're clearing the desert land that they needed. And they were lots and lots of people involved in this. Yeah. And we were under the assumption that they were going to build some kind of a building up there, but we couldn't figure out with the 4 or 5 foot pipeline would they need that much water.
Right.
And the pipeline came from Weber's Pump, which was at 101 or the 202 and the 10.
The future 202.
The future 202, yes, and the 10 down there. But so we knew Bernie Weber, so we asked Bernie Weber, what are you doing? And he goes, they're going to start project called Ahwatukee. And that's when we knew it was started.
You know, I've talked to some of the old timers, and they said that they lived here their whole lives. They never thought that the area that became the original Ahwatukee would ever amount to anything because it was so close to the mountain. You couldn't farm it. It was all draining downhill.
Yeah. Nobody believed that would be possible.
Yeah. How did your grandparents react to the idea of a development, so to speak, in the area?
They were not pleased. My grandmother would say, nobody would live out here because it's so far from town. Who would live out here? That's true. We have no way. We have to go clear to town to buy groceries. Right. What we didn't have on the ranch. And my grandfather was real indignant about the fact is that they're taking farmland. Yeah. And building houses on it. He said, "Who's going to feed these people?" Right. And he was looking at it from a farmer's point of view. Yeah. And it was very difficult for him to accept the fact that the country was getting crowded.
If you enjoyed the video and want to see future episodes of the Ahwatukee History Project, be sure to give us a like and click the subscribe button. Questions and comments are always welcome.